Welcome, Pisces, your in-depth weekly astrology overview and zodiac forecast for week commencing the 18th of May for the ascendant, the sun, or the moon. Going to share with you, first of all, the big themes of the week ahead, then on screen, your event chart on Monday. Always provides an influential backdrop. I'll then go through each of the influences frame by frame to give you a clear picture of what you can expect in terms of energy, work, relationships, and finances. If you recall last week, there was a new moon in the earthy sign of Taurus, but was in a conjunction with Mercury, the planet of communication, and for you it's or was in the part of your chart to do with fast exchanges. But Mars, the planet of passion, joins with the Sun in that area on Monday. If there's something you really want to invest in terms of your ideas, the drive of Mars will support that strongly over the next 6 weeks. You may even find yourself wanting to be more physically active too. But Venus, the planet of charm and relating, moves into the most glamorous part of your chart on Tuesday. I say glamorous because it can give you the appetite to update your personal appearance, but it also can give you much more motivation to socialize and interact. But the fifth house is also about where we can speculate, and Venus can be about money and also about fortune. But on Thursday, the Sun moves out of the sign of Taurus and into the sign of Gemini. Gemini for you represents the fourth house and has a kind of Cancerian feel. The host, however, is very much about the exchange of ideas. The Sun moving into this area certainly is going to flag to you who you live with, how you live there, and also how you feel about your life. But because it comes into an exact conjunction with the restless energies of Uranus on Friday, this is very rare. It hasn't happened for 78 years. So on the screen now, Pisces, is your event chart. And there's the Sun, 3.5 weeks into its third house journey. Taurus is a very grounded energy, of course. It can be about our values, can be about finance, can be about our self-worth. But Mars moving to that sector on Monday fortifies all those areas. So if there's something you're really enthusiastic about at the moment, you have your own channel, you have your own website, you're involved in technology, you interact in your community, all of it just feels that much more vivid as you come into this week. But Venus has, although being vivacious in Gemini, it has been in the home part of your chart, and that may have seen you do some home decoration recently or some changes around where you live over the last 4 weeks. But Venus moves on Tuesday into Cancer. Venus is at ease in Cancer. Cancer is very nurturing. It's a water sign, but that link from Mars to Venus on Tuesday is exact. You could have a fated conversation on that day, which could prove to be seminal. It may be about business. It could be someone you're attracted to. But by Thursday, the Sun moves into the sign of Gemini. And at the very start of this week, the ruler of the sign, Mercury, is also in a conjunction with Uranus. If you're not particularly settled where you live, that can create quite a lot of extra energy as this week goes on. You may be thinking about how you could execute a change, particularly with Mercury linking back to Pluto. Pluto's in a part of your chart to do with being much more in touch with your past experiences, knowledge, and also resources, but perhaps using them in a different way. So if you're not particularly comfortable in your current accommodation, something in your mind could be about how do I change that? Now, for some people, that may be as simple as decluttering. Uranus likes space, but equally, it could be about wanting to move all together. So just be mindful that that may be a theme that gets stronger. If you're quite happy where you live, there'd just may be a need for greater stimulation at home. So if you have got an idea that you feel could make more money for you, perhaps even as a sideline, your home can very much become the base of a whirl of activity, which could prove exciting. But by the end of the week, there is a quarter moon in your opposite sign of Virgo, linking back to the sun in your fourth house. Someone you're close to may lean into you for support at the end of this week. Could be two people. You may find two people you know aren't getting on so well. Maybe a family member that you need to have a heart to heart with. But it's important to know that how you view the situation may not be how they view it. And because Uranus is so close to the sun, you could get a bit frustrated if they're not quite getting on to the point that you're making. So what do we make of this week as an overall summary? I'm going to go through the energy, the work, the relationships and finances next, Pisces. But just to say, you can order your personal horoscopes now and get 3 for the price of 1. I've reduced the prices. And you order your life roadmap report, which helps you to understand the patterns that have played out in your life so far. But free, you get your 12-month transit forecast, but also your draconic soul karmic analysis. Please see below for more. Knowing our natal chart helps us to navigate this life journey so much better. If you've yet to watch your May monthly forecast, that's on the screen. If you've yet to watch your Uranus 78-year solar return Cazimi forecast, that's on the screen. If you'd like to work with me one-to-one, it's a pleasure. Please see my testimonials below. And if you've yet to sign up for your free daily written horoscope, please see that below. And you can get your early day celestial pit stop. So what's the prospects for this week? So let's think about energy first of all. If there are tensions around where you live or in your emotional life, I think they could prove to be a little draining. You will find that your adrenal system is a little difficult to switch off if that's the case. If, however, as far as your enthusiasm at the moment, if they're really activated, your exchanging of ideas can bring a lot of stimulation to your world. And you can, if you're wanting to get fitter, use Mars's energy in Taurus to do precisely that. Now, Mars obviously likes a degree of physicality. The third house likes quick cardio movements. If you're not someone for running around the block or leaping on your bike, maybe you could do some exercises at home, a row machine, a static bike, stuff like that would be very, very helpful. In terms of your professional situation, the part of fortune is in a very elevated part of your chart this week, really suggesting that if you have maximum confidence in what you want to do, that can come back to you. But I think if you have been thinking about working for yourself, or at least starting a home-based business as a sideline, the desire to do so can ratchet up quite considerably this week. As far as your romantic situation is concerned, Venus moving into that 5th house, linking back to Mars on Tuesday, can see that very important conversation. But Venus in that 5th house through to the middle of June can bring some real magic to your love life, but particularly through the first 10 days of June. As far as your financial situation is concerned, yes, you still have Saturn in your 2nd house, but as this week goes on, Mercury in the 4th links back to Saturn. If you do declutter and sell things off, that can bring some money in. But equally, I feel that Saturn here can help you to be very realistic about what your prospects are, and that in itself can be very valuable too. It's been a real pleasure being with you, Pisces. Thank you so much for joining me. Have a great week. All the best and goodbye.